Hi, I'm Roxy.
And I'm Diana. This is We Watch Stupid. Today is episode 14, Dirty Dancing. I think it's the first 80s movie that I've actually seen that they've been referencing this season. I should also say
Actually,
it's
yeah, probably me too.
I should also say that it's season 6 of Before the 90 Days, specifically, is what we're talking about.
Do you think that this reference is Nicola's dancing at the Dead Sea?
Oh, so gross. Wait, do we want to talk about them first? Or do we?
So sensual. Oh, okay. It's
Dude,
because are you're
I've
getting really
I've
aroused. Should I give you a minute
yeah,
thinking about
please
it?
do. Yeah,
You're
I
getting
need to
really aroused thinking about it.
cool cool it off. Cool it off. I just fan myself. We saw a lot of beach. There's just so much. I think we should yeah, let's go with them. Okay.
Okay.
There's there's a lot.
Hallelujah, Diana. Hallelujah.
Okay.
It's like the first thing they say in this segment.
When they're in that church and they're like across the aisles from each other and they're both praying, but then she's dressed like an Orthodox Jew. Like I was very confused. Did you notice that? We so Roxy and I have this mutual friend who is an Orthodox Jew, and that's how she dresses, like a long white t-shirt or a long t-shirt underneath like a tank top dress or something, and then like hair covered. I was surprised to see that.
I think it's probably because they're in a church. I think maybe she's covering herself and covering her hair. That's my guess.
Yeah, totally. But just it was different than where we've seen the looks of Misha. Before we get into the Dead Sea, did you hear him say in the ITM like the thing about like, oh, the 7 years they put in all this time,
So much effort. He's put in so much effort.
so much effort. He doesn't want to see it fall down like a balloon.
Yeah.
Is that a metaphor? Is that an appropriate metaphor? I typically would give someone credit since I can barely speak English and he's knows multiple languages. Um, but just like that image of like a slow floating down of like a helium balloon that is like losing its helium. Anyway, okay. The Dead Sea.
Yeah, so they're going to the Dead Sea. I can't it's I don't know if it's supposed to be a romantic getaway or whatever. I'm starting to kind of question Misha's intelligence. Like she's shown us some intelligence, emotional intelligence up to now, but then they're like walking along the coast of the Dead Sea and she's like, "Is that salt?" And it's like, "Yeah, that's kind of like the Dead Sea's thing. That's kind of like when you like can buy like bath bombs or like bath salts that are like from the Dead Sea because it's kind of like the saltiest place. Like that's kind of the deal." So, and then she asks if she can taste it and he goes, "Please God, no. People walk on it with their dirty feet." And then she like does it anyway and says it tastes like an overly salted dirty martini.
Yes. So I'll give myself credit because I was a third of her age when I went to the Dead Sea with you. I don't know if I said, like, oh, is that salt? But I probably was like, what? Huh. Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Wait, a third of your age? So
A
you
third
were
of
like
her age.
16? We were not.
We are not
She's
16.
not
Okay.
she's not
Half of
that
her
old.
age.
Yeah,
Half of her
that's better.
age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just thought that was pretty wild.
Yeah. What did you think about he was using some words like sweetie pie and cute water?
Cute.
He said the water was cute.
I think he's just so He's so awkward in everything. Like, I think Nadia might have dropped him at some
Everything.
point. And, like
No, Nadia shakes her boobs and wears sheer tops. She's perfect.
So you're saying she wouldn't have dropped him. Okay, so never mind. She didn't drop him, she's perfect. But, like, I just think he hears, like, "I need you to be more affectionate," and so then he's just, like, inserting these, like, affectionate seeming words into sentences that he would just be saying, and, like,
Yeah,
again,
you're right.
checking the box. He's just so awkward, and okay, I have a lot to say about this mud
Okay, please,
situation conversation.
please start. I'll chime in.
So, yeah, so they start, like, applying this when you go to the Dead Sea, there's, like, a bunch of spas along the bank, right? Is that what I feel like I'm remembering that right. It's, like, a
Yeah,
bunch of different places to kinda, like, sit and, like, do spa treatments with, like, the mineral-rich water and the mineral-rich, like, mud and bath salts and stuff, so they, like, bought a packet of this mud, and they're, like, rubbing it on each other.
which you and I did.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know that we bought any, I think we just, like, dug it out of, like, a drain pipe or
Yeah,
something.
we
I
did.
remember
Yeah,
digging
we de
around
no,
for
is
it.
it yeah, there was some, like, hole that people were yeah.
But she's, like, not pleased with the way that he's applying this mud and saying, like, "Okay, be less of a caveman, like, be less gruff." And then the ITM, they have, like, kinda this thing play over where she's saying that she, like, loves his naivete and she thinks it's sexy that
Yeah!
he doesn't know what's going on.
Why is she into that?
And she's, like, into it and she's physically attracted to him because of this naivete, but then she's, like, clearly annoyed that he doesn't know anything about being sexy because he's
Yeah.
a virgin, and then it got me thinking, like, why are you attracted to naivete? Like, are you, like, attracted to, like, teenage boys then?
Oh, whoa, yeah, interesting. Like, she wants to teach him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, like, such an odd position, and, like, he was her teacher with, like, religion, and now she wants to be his teacher with, like, sex stuff? And finds it
Yeah.
hot? It's so odd. It really makes me question her motivations.
The earth is flat.
Yeah.
She she says it like, yeah, she's into it, like, he's so innocent, but he does things with so much confidence. Like, it's like, okay, he's doing things with confidence, but he's doing them wrong. Um,
I would find that supremely annoying.
yes. And
I mean, I
my
do.
punch,
I'm watching it.
yo, okay. I'm pretty sure you put that mud on me in the same sort of manner that Nicola was putting putting the mud on Misha. Like, just, like, smearing it on, like, "This is what we need to do. We need to go." Like, I'm pretty sure between the 3 of us, it was just like, "We're putting this mud on." Like, "Yeah, isn't this cool? We're at the Dead Sea." It was not a romantic moment, and even though he was trying to make it a romantic moment, he's just so bleh. His tan lines.
Oh, that was the worst farmer's tan I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my
Like,
god,
that was
he looked
awful.
even more dehydrated.
This man doesn't he's never worn sunscreen and he's never had a sip of water. It's really upsetting. It made me realize that he's, like, never seen anything sexy. It makes me think that he's, like, never watched porn, he's never seen, like, a sexy movie, he's never seen a sex scene, like, he's just
No.
never looked at or thought about anything erotic in his life.
Roxanne, in the 5th grade, he had sex ed. It was explained to him. He knows how sex works. He knows
That
women.
made me
He knows how sex works.
That was so
What?
terri
That was
that was
like,
terrifying.
oh my god, that's like what a fucking fifth grader would say. Like,
Yeah, I
oh, I know, I
know.
got this down now.
What like, do you remember what sex ed was like or, like, what you learned?
In fifth grade, actually, I do remember. I remember learning that there needed to actually be intercourse because beforehand, I thought that sex was just making out on top of each other. I learned that there needed to be penetration and that this, yeah, that's what I learned. So technically, I did learn, I learned how sex happened, but I didn't actually learn about sex until much later. I learned about the physical, like what constitutes sex.
When you conceived this child that you're pregnant with right now, right?
That's when I found out. Yeah, that's when I found out
Yeah,
how to have
okay.
sex. Was
In
just a
case your
couple
mom
months
ever
back.
listens to this, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember in, like, 6th or s we had a little bit in 5th grade, and then it was, like, 6th or 7th grade that we learned about periods, and I remember
Yeah.
this kid, Kevin, being like, "So, when they go to the bathroom, they, like, pee it out?" And that's the kind of confidence that I feel like Nicola is bringing to this conversation.
I know women.
Yeah, knows nothing, like, going for it anyways.
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
I
goodness.
wish I could have been a fly on the wall in that like middle school sex ed class where the teacher's like, "Well, did you know that there's three holes?"
Oh my gosh, we don't pay our teachers enough.
No, no,
They
we don't.
think about the things that they have to teach us. Oh my goodness.
In the ITM, they I don't know if the producers ask, but like when they're married, like how often are they gonna make love? And he says every day. And I'm like, oh, really, Nicola? You're gonna go
Mhm.
from 46 years of nothing, except for that, little stint where you learned about sex in fifth grade, to every single day. More power to you, man.
And I'm gonna guess he has, like, on par or potentially less of a fitness level than Gino. So, is he going to have the stamina to do it every
Zero.
day? I don't think
100%
so
no.
at all.
He pro- he probably like there's missionary, like there's guy on top, girl on top. Like I guess he would think that it's guy on top, but he's probably doesn't have the stamina, so she'd need to be on top. But
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that. I also just don't think he probably has the hydration to
No.
actually ejaculate. So
It's just like a puff of dust. Just like,
yeah,
God. That's awful. Yeah, I'm just so oh, and then he says, like, they can have sex every day because she's a machine.
yeah. She kind of took offense to it. Yeah.
I would too.
What?
That is so weird to say about someone you've never had sex with. Just weird to say in general, but, like, so
Yeah.
weird to say about someone you've never had sex with. You've never had sex. Do you even know what that means? I feel like he just heard it in a movie or something or heard a friend say it,
Yeah.
and he doesn't know what that means.
No, he doesn't.
Very odd.
So so then they go to the Christian quarter of the Old City, Jerusalem. I wish I could reach out and hold your hand because we also did this together. It was just as romantic
We did?
as the Dead Sea. I don't think we did all 14 stations, but we definitely like walked part of it. And then we went into that final church that they went into.
Okay. Your memory of this is way better than mine. Wow.
But while I was watching them do the like, I'm going to say Road to Jesus. I don't think that that's what it was actually called. Like the 14 stations of the
Stations
cross.
of
Like,
the Cross. This is the road to Jesus. It sounds like a country song.
man, I'm a poet and you're a songwriter. This is perfect.
Clearly.
So I don't remember seeing people with those crosses. And it
No.
was weird. That was so dumb.
Nobody else had it either. Like, it was a
Yeah. Also, if it's supposed to be like, oh, this is the like cross or burden that Jesus had to bear like through these 14 stations or this, however long of a walk, that is not the size of the cross. That was like a mini baby cross.
That's true, yeah.
So
His was
go
way
away,
bigger.
Nicola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my partner grew up Catholic, and so he, like, takes for granted that people know religious stuff. I had to pause this and ask him what the F this was. Like, what is the Stations of the Cross? And so
Even though we had been there.
yes. Yes.
I love you.
But I guess okay, so the Last Supper was when Jesus was hanging with his homies and they were all like maybe against him, I don't know. And then a bunch of rabbis, I guess, convinced Romans to arrest him for being a false prophet or something like that. I'm probably getting this wrong.
You got like the full like history of this. I'm very impressed.
But well, he went to Catholic school and stuff, or like maybe Bible school or something. They
Okay.
stripped him down, beat him up, made him carry his cross up that hill to be crucified, and then the stations are where like different stuff happened. So he just like he talked to some person or like tripped or some stuff. So that's what that is, in case anyone else is as big of a heathen as I am and wants to know what the F
I
this
was
is,
too.
but doesn't want to go to the trouble of Googling it themselves. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Roxanne's partner thing. Did you get the sense when they were like in the church that she was kind of turned on by it? Like it was the way she was explaining it was way different than the way she was explaining her experience with the mud at the Dead Sea.
I mean, she's horny for a man that like corrected her. Like their first interaction was him correcting her about religion on Instagram, and she was like, "I'm hooked." So
Hooked. Hooked like a fish. Jesus is a fisherman. Yeah.
my partner's mom is like she's the devout Catholic in his family, and she was telling me that Nico has a lot of stuff fucked up about Catholicism.
Oh yeah.
um and she's not like a casual a casual Catholic. She like goes to conferences and like takes it she like goes to religious conferences and like still does kind of Bible study stuff and takes her faith very seriously. And so like if she I don't know, and she's like an engineer, like she is a smart person. So if she's telling me that Nicola has stuff fucked up, I'm inclined to believe her because
Yeah.
his form of Catholicism seems very informed by like the internet and like his grandma, you know?
Yeah. He just has a lot of things fucked up. Like when they go to coffee. He says that he loves her so much and is affectionate because he brought the coffee to the table. Did I misunderstand what was happening there?
And then he lists off all these things that he wants praise for that are bare minimum stuff.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
he's just like walking, talking, personified patriarchy and like yeah, he just wants so much praise for this bare minimum stuff. Also because he's never been in a relationship before and he like his notion of like a romantic relationship is like texting, which is like the lowest like least energy intensive form of communication.
Hmm. Hmm.
So h- him going and like ordering her a coffee is this like huge deal.
I know. It's like, it honestly would be like dating a 10-year-old. Like, I got this for you.
Yeah,
So,
that's what she's signed up for.
mhm.
Not to toot my own horn, but, like, I went on I'm, like, cat sitting today, and on my way back, I was like, "Hey, sweetie Bobidi, do you want a coffee?" I didn't even want a coffee that bad, but I know that he can always drink a coffee, so I got him a coffee. I didn't expect
Aw,
him to, like, kiss my feet and grovel. It's, like, something nice that I did because I like my partner and he likes to be caffeinated. So,
yeah.
that's just stuff that you do,
It's just caring.
Nicola. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just caring, Nicola.
Mhm.
Idiot.
Idiot. Let's talk about him mumbling "I love you" a few times during the trip and being upset that she doesn't say it back.
I found this conversation just super creepy. I feel like he's trying to come up with I mean, like, the whole time she's been there, he's been, like, trying to come up with excuses for why this relationship won't work, and I feel like this is his, like, last ditch effort because she's leaving and his family didn't reject her in the way that he wanted. He wanted. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very odd and very creepy.
And, like, okay, so I might have gotten my husband a little drunk this afternoon.
Wifely duties.
Mhm. Yes. So he was kind of like half watching the episode, and when when Nicola starts talking about this whole thing, he goes, "This guy's fucking crazy." He got like so passionate about this. It had me pause it and try to like drunkenly explain. Like, it was pretty cute. But what Bernie was trying, what I think he was trying to say was like, so what if she doesn't say it back? Like, she's still like there hanging out with you. Like, clearly this is going somewhere.
She met your family.
Doing all these, like, letting you put Dead Sea mud on on her, like he's spackling a wall. Like, what do you want, Nicola?
I don't know. I'm really excited to see how Brody becomes more invested in this show, the more he has to, like the more it's, like, around. You know what I mean? Like, my partner didn't wanna have anything to do with this, but now that it's just, like, on Sunday nights, he, like he's not invested, but he'll, like, watch it and care a little bit about the storyline.
He tries to avoid it, but then he always enjoys it. So then, just to finish out Nicola and Misha, they bring up the annulment again. I'd almost
Yeah.
forgotten.
Oh, I talked about this also with my partner's mom, and she reminded me that Misha works for the church, so it's basically paperwork. It's not like it's super
Hmm.
easy, but it is paperwork. But she works in the church, so she knows people that would be able to help her, like, speed it along. It's like it's not this insurmountable hurdle. Especially since she wasn't married, it wasn't a Catholic marriage. So it's
Okay,
kind of a yeah, it's not as big of a deal as she's making it out to
it's
be.
like fake drama. Okay, but I think it is a issue for Nicola because I think it's another kind of like hurdle to get over or kind of like hoop to jump through for him to like potentially sabotage this relationship.
Do you think he has, like, the bishop's number in, in Michigan, wherever she is?
Probably.
He can call him up and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I don't think you should annul this marriage because I don't wanna keep ordering coffees and bringing them to the table. It's too much."
Yeah, he's done it once. How many more times does she expect it? Anything else with them?
No. Do you wanna go with Cleo and Christian? I actually don't have that
Yeah.
many notes for them. Some stuff happened, but I feel like, yeah, like you said last week, all these couples are kind of winding down.
Hmm.
Um,
Um, okay, so beautiful start to this these segments. She's holding up some corn and she goes, "Didn't you want to make them creamy?" And Christian's like, "I don't know how to do any of this. I was relying on you to cook my country's traditional meal." Oh, God, he
He's such a
sucks.
dumb. He really
And then he
sucks.
says some like bullshit about like, because she was asking, "How do you like? What do you normally do while things are cooking?" He's like, "I don't know, watch sports, talk shit." Like,
Yeah, so this like double confirms that he's a mama's boy and also like a piece of shit because he's like never helped with Thanksgiving before when there's
no,
20 people to feed. Like that's crazy to me.
totally crazy. Also, I don't like touching raw meat. Never have done it in my life, but I know that the butter goes under the skin.
He also like why was he sitting there with his salmonella hands for
Oh,
so
right?
long? Like get up and wash your hands. What are you
He's so
doing?
gross.
He was
Oh,
just sitting there helpless. He looked like he wanted Cleo to come, like, wipe his hands for him. It was so weird. In his ITM, he starts talking about Jane poisoning Cleo's idea of him if she comes to this Thanksgiving dinner, and
Jane doesn't need any help.
yeah.
Like, you're doing it on your own, man.
Yeah, that isn't an outright kind of narcissistic thing to say, but I feel like it's in shades of gray. It's like pretty dark. He cares less about acting uh appropriately and more about how he's perceived, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So then Jane comes over to dinner and they start eating what looks like a very dry turkey.
Oh, and corn that's just like cut on a plate.
Yeah,
And then
he
there was
didn't
like,
he didn't make it creamy.
no. And then there was just like, it looked like a jar of jelly. Like maybe it was like cranberry jelly.
Yeah, really unimpressive.
But impressive because Cleo cooked it.
Yeah.
And it was her first.
Yeah, she has no idea what Thanksgiving is as an Italian living in London, and she
Yeah.
cooked Thanksgiving dinner for 3 people. Good job, Cleo. So then I kinda love that Cleo brought up the fact that
Uh-huh.
Christian invited someone over. It is a little bit shitty because they already talked it through and now she's bringing it up in front of Jane, but I don't care. I want Christian to have to answer for his actions in front of someone else. Also, they're on camera and Cleo is producing the shit out of this just like Jasmine would. So hopefully we get to see her on future seasons. I doubt it, but you never know.
Jane's reaction of, "You don't know anyone here.
Yeah.
Did you meet any guys at the bar?"
Good she's asking really good questions, though. Oh, so, like, you go to bars and you talk to strangers. Do you talk to men when you go to bars? And
Yeah.
that really gets him tongue-tied. Like, he doesn't know
Uh-huh.
how to contend with that because, yeah, of course there's a reason he's talking to women, and to try and, like, talk your way out of that is completely bizarre, and it, like, makes it makes it clear that he thinks that women are idiots because he thinks he can, like, convince them otherwise somehow.
Or just thinks everyone's an idiot.
Well, everyone has his same IQ of, like, 4.
Yeah, and they just like while they're talking, it's just he does not get it. Like there's
Mhm.
he like it's yeah, he's got a low IQ, he's got that skinny neck, can't have that much brains. Um and he says something about like, oh, he feels awkward when he's not talking to someone. Last time I checked, that is because you're not secure with yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
whew,
very bizarre to need attention that badly all the time. Like, how does he
uh-huh.
not see that as an issue?
Like, become comfortable with yourself. You can sit at a bar by yourself.
Or just sit by yourself and not get plastered. Sit by yourself and, like, not
Have a walk. Like,
yeah, it's very, very bizarre because, yeah, every time that he's left alone, he has to, like, go to a bar and get drunk. He has to be, like, the life of he just needs attention so bad,
he needs the attention. Yeah,
if that's a symptom of narcissism or not, but I'm guessing it is because
mhm,
that's what Donald Trump does, even though
true.
Christian says that he's not like Donald
Oh,
Trump.
he's not.
Um,
He feels icky.
he
He
feels so
feels
icky.
icky.
Why don't we think about what
Yeah,
he feels? Why aren't we thinking about how
yeah.
he feels?
I don't know. That was really mean of us. Oh, because I don't care.
Oh, he also says that he feels like him being himself is like being a bad person, and it's like, well, then you're a bad person, Christian.
Yeah, yeah.
You just said it. You said it out
Hmm.
loud. That means what you said.
Okay, but I have you ever been in a situation where like your instinct is wrong
Sure.
and like that? Okay, so I had an experience with work a couple like months ago where I'm like, wait a second. In all my years of working, this is how I've dealt with something. How am I getting in trouble for this? Like my instinct, I was like, what? Whatever. It wasn't that big of a deal. I learned to pivot, but it was just like the worst feeling ever where I was like, I wasn't trying to go around anyone. I was being really blunt about, politely blunt about, or straightforward, I should say. Like, how am I getting like in quote unquote trouble for this? Like, so I guess I'm trying to sympathize or empathize with him about like, if his instincts and what he's saying is like being himself is like it's getting him in trouble or like he's wrong by being himself. He needs to accommodate to the situation or be flexible or what's the word I'm looking for?
He can't look inward though. He can't see another
Yeah,
person's point of view is the issue here. Like,
yeah,
you were able to pivot in that situation because you have self-awareness and you could see where the people that were asking you for something different were maybe coming from, even if you didn't think it was the right thing to do. He can't do that.
it was wrong in my situation. It was fully wrong.
Well, then, so your instinct was right, but you were flexible even though it didn't feel right.
Yes, I adapted is the term,
You
right?
adapted.
Like I
Okay, yeah.
adapted based on the fucking crazy environment I'm in. But he needs to look inward, like, because if his girlfriend is saying, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with you just randomly talking to girls, randomly like at a bar or on an airplane where then you get cut off from drinking," like see that, hear it, and then don't do it again.
I think this is because he is a mama's boy, and probably every time that he gets in trouble or something bad happens, or he has a breakup or whatever, he runs to his mom and she's like, "No, you're my perfect boy." And then also, I think he is like he's a drunk. He probably like met all of his friends in bars and or has known them since he was 12, and so like he's just been like he has no need to grow or to think
Yeah, yeah,
at all, like, any
yeah.
differently.
Um,
Disappointing.
Very disappointing. Couple things I want to say about last about Cleo and Christian. Jaden is so good at seeing through his bullshit and articulating like what a piece of shit he is. Chris, Christian, he said that he felt like he was singled out as an asshole. I don't agree with him. Like he was an asshole, but it was also like I don't think they were fully ganged up on him, and he was being dramatic. He just doesn't understand, like we've been discussing.
I don't remember them, like, accusing him of anything. They were just asking
Yeah.
questions,
Uh-huh.
and then
Uh-huh.
interprets that as an attack because
Yeah.
nobody questions anything that he does ever. So it's making him like have to think differently or like be self-aware and he can't handle it. Which is like so it's such basic human decency and they're asking him such simple questions and it's like literally driving him to like he's like looks on the brink of like an anxiety attack. Like you are
Hmm.
such a fragile person, Christian. It's so dumb.
He's really dumb. Um, she's trying to explain to him, again, he's not getting it. And then she gets, like, basically is like, hey, I need to, like, walk away. I need to, no, I don't, she doesn't say that she needs to walk away, but she needs to, like, take a break, which I agree with. Like, it's been a long day. You guys have been drinking. Yeah, let's pick
Mhm.
this up in the morning. And then he's like, how can we communicate if she just walks out on me? Well, I think that she did the mature thing. And then when I think, oh, she's autistic, she probably really needed to walk away and have space.
Totally.
Not just that it was the mature thing to do.
Yeah. Well, she says, I think if I keep saying things, it's gonna make you sad." So, like,
Yeah,
thinking about even when she's trying to communicate, she's still thinking about his feelings. He's not giving a shit about how she feels.
no.
Like, that's
Uh-uh.
very clear.
Very, very clear.
"Run, girl!"
Run, girl. This will come up later in our conversation, but let's talk about Jane's center boob tat. It's
Oh,
cool.
I didn't notice it.
She had this, like, low cut dress on, and then it was just like, I don't even know what it was. It was just like a line or so that was just like in her, like, what's the middle of your boob called?
Cleavage?
Your Sure, yeah, it was there. But it was more like the bone part.
Her
Yeah,
sternum? Okay.
sure. Yeah, right there. Okay, should we move to Amanda and Razvan? She was
Yeah. She's so creepy. She just gets creepier and creepier. Did you notice that she has another pair of those ugly ass leggings?
I did. I wrote that down. More fucking leggings.
Yeah.
She's making out with him in the middle of the airport. She's got these dumbass leggings on. I also need to point out that the headrest on their seats on the flight said more leg room. I take offense to that. Get the hell out of there, you short shorties.
So for those who don't know, Diana and her husband are both really tall, and I'm pretty tall. I'm 5'9", and they make me feel like trolls. So yeah,
If you're not over 6 feet, I respect you as a
yeah,
person, but I don't think you need more leg room.
yeah. They were also both being shitty and not wearing their masks on the plane, even though it looked like they were supposed to, and I
They were
need to
trying to
state
make
that.
out.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
Gross.
We kinda got ahead of it, but, like, this ride to the airport, Amanda is telling him that he needs to basically, like, relax and stop having feelings. She's saying this again. She was, like, saying this immediately after their fight, but it's just so freaking rude because she can have and express all of her anger, all of her frustration, all of her disappointment, and then as soon as he has a feeling, she's
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
"Absolutely not. Like, you need to shut that down. You are just supposed to be you were just supposed to be
Yeah.
shiny meat person." And she's just such a creep. I don't know why women
Dude.
think that they can act this creepy. It's awful. It's like if the genders were reversed, this would just be like I mean, I know she's getting a lot of hate on the internet anyways, but it's just heinous. It's heinous either way, but it's really hard to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very hard to watch. Razvan has been better in a better light to me for the last couple episodes, but now I I really like him because he asked the cab driver if he spoke English and then how to curse in Croatian.
Yeah. That was pretty great.
That's some bullshit that we would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, and the term was like, it was basically get fucked by ice.
Yeah. So bizarre too. Like,
I'm
when
gonna
would
have to
that
ask
come
my
up?
Croatian friend about that.
Oh, totally. Yeah, ask her, like,
Yeah.
what is the context for that? Like, what kind of offense would have to happen for you to tell someone to get fucked by ice? Also, it's Croatia, like, where do you get ice?
You don't get ice in Croatia. That was sorry. When the cab driver said that, I thought of so I got to go to Croatia a couple years back after a friend's wedding, and it was an awesome experience. There were like 18 of us that stayed after the wedding, and we shared this Airbnb. And so we were at a grocery store, like those little corner stores that they have in Europe, and we were getting stuff to all make dinner together. And I was like, it sounded like it was my first time out of the country, but I was like, "There's no ice. Like, where's the ice? Like, we need ice for our drinks." And my friend goes, "What do you think you're in America? There's no ice here." And I was like, "God, I love how blunt you are." And you're right. Yes, there is typically not ice. Ice is such an American thing.
Did they
Hmm?
have freezers? Like, could you make
Yeah, you could
ice?
make well, but there were no ice trays in the Airbnb. So like I was like, "Oh, we get a bag of ice." And no, like it's not a thing. Like we can get like a bag of ice from 7-Eleven, like or make ice. So maybe getting fucked by ice is like extra insulting.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Dang. Yeah. Okay. If you figure it out,
Yeah.
please let us know.
Okay.
I am also so I'm creeped out because she's like constantly making out with him in the airport, just like being super creepy. But like, why? Like, why does she want him back? She basically tried to break up with him like 2 days ago. Why does she care so much about keeping it's so bizarre. She was ready to just go home. And like now they're on this trip to Croatia because TV reasons. But like, why? I just don't understand her motivation
I
here.
think I think it's all selfish. I think that she wants a relationship on her terms. She would want to end it on her terms versus him ending it because she hurt his feelings. And I also think part of it is trying to save face. Like, oh, he is gonna break up with me because I was such a shithead and like said these very hurtful things. Like, oh,
So they're walking around Split. Split is a beautiful city. And he says, check out the city hall. It's made of limestones. And then he goes, I know things. She asks him if her being, because he's like, they're in a cab and he's saying, like, he hasn't introduced anyone to his parents since his ex wife. And she asks if her being introduced means he has hope for the relationship.
oh my God.
And yeah, he doesn't give like a straightforward answer because they're not in a great place, but I think it means that they're on TV and production made these plans and they didn't want to cancel them. That's what I think.
Also, how weird would it be if you told your parents that this girl is coming from the US, we're dating, and I want you to meet them, and then, oh no, we're not going to come. Like, I would still go through the motions, even if the TV camera wasn't there.
Really? You
Yeah,
think?
I would.
Okay. I feel like I would just have to be like, sorry, it didn't work out. She said awful stuff to me, and I don't really want to go through the trouble of having you meet her.
I guess if they were fully broken up, but since they're like kind of trying it back on, then
Yeah. It's weird. I would feel super freaking awkward if I were either of them, really.
totally. What do you think of her Delia's dress? It was like this white flowered, like peasant top dress that like I would have killed for in middle school. And then her just like random tats and piercings, you know, straight straight out of Delia's.
It's so weird. She
Or like,
stopped.
but like, cool Delia's girl.
Yeah, she stopped, developing in, like, 7th grade or something. I don't know what her deal is. Um, her they meet Razvan's parents, and they're super welcoming, seem super sweet,
Exactly.
and then Razvan's mom starts dishing out all this food, and she eats it, and I can't help thinking, like, "Is this non-GMO? Is this organic?" And she's still eating it? Oh, so it wasn't that big of a deal, Amanda?
Uh, the food did look good.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Hey, his brother was young.
True. Well, he's young. He's 24, so his brother could be, teenager. It wouldn't be that odd.
Yeah, that's true. His brother's hair was pretty awesome. His dad's hair matched Rosvan's hair.
Yeah. I'm so curious how they ended up in Croatia. We haven't learned why.
Yeah, probably because Croatia's pretty dope. Maybe they wanted to be fucked by ice.
Amanda, who asked the dad about the ex-wife? Was it Razvan or Amanda?
Okay, so things are going well. Like they're like having this little like they're talking about the kids and like they're giving each other compliments. It's like things are going well. And then in Riley fashion, Amanda's like, "Hey, let's stir the pot." And then asks Razvan to ask why they didn't like the ex-wife. And she said, "I've heard it from you, but I'd like to hear it from," I'm pretty sure she meant the mom, but then the dad started responding. So Razvan asked for Amanda because he was asking in Romanian.
Okay, yeah.
And the dad starts crying.
It was so sweet.
Yeah.
They, like, clearly care about their son's well-being, and, like, this woman hurt Razvan, so it hurt
Hmm.
them. It
Yeah.
was really, really sweet. And then the dad starts describing basically Amanda when he's describing what happened with this relationship, saying that she was selfish, she was demanding, she was jealous, she wanted to control what he
Hmm.
wanted to do, and then hearing that from his dad and having especially just, like, translated again to Amanda Razvan, I think in his ITM is like, "Huh, he's saying all this stuff, and it's making me realize he's describing my relationship with Amanda, and that doesn't feel great."
No, it's crazy how people get into patterns.
Well, he probably ends up with women that get jealous because they're after a hot piece that they can have and nobody else can have.
Hmm.
So that would probably be part of it. And then they start bickering in English, but like in front of his parents. And like just because they can't understand you doesn't mean that they can't
I
see.
know you still get the vibe.
And that's what his dad says. He like
Yeah.
picks up on the weird energy that like Deanna in a previous episode had kind of called out too. Yeah, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to pick up on the weird vibes. And so the dad is just like, I don't feel like this is 100% good. I'm not sure. Like, I don't have any hard evidence, but like, there's a weird energy between them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then she like picks on him. He's like, we need to change the subject. We can't keep bickering in front of my parents. And then she like picks on him and like
Yeah.
doesn't want to drop it. I'm like, be polite. What is your she's such yeah, she's such a petulant child. It's so bizarre. Yeah, need to smack her. She needs a smack upside the head.
I just want to let you know that Brody also chimed in on them, drunk Brody. also chimed in on them because I was like, oh, she's the worst. And he's like, no, I think he's the worst. She seems okay. And I was like, you don't get an opinion because you have not been paying attention to this bitch.
What about this interaction made him think that Razvan was terrible?
Well, so it was that I was saying she was the worst because I was like, why are you stirring the pot? Like, why are you asking about the ex girlfriend or the ex wife? And Brody was like, well, like, it's what she's got to know. And I'm like, not yet, not yet. And he, you know, like I said, I got him drunk. So I don't think he was fully understanding. Like it's just like it was not the time and the place to me. Like, yes, it's something that she might want to hear from them at a certain point, but it didn't need to be right now, especially when they were in a bad place because she had said such hurtful things.
Or, like, I imagine they're gonna be there for a couple days. Like, okay, this is the first dinner, just, like, smile and be
Ugh.
nice.
Oh my god, so right. Yeah.
Maybe, like, the next time you see them, when it's not your, like, literal first impression, ask something a little bit more personal.
Hmm.
She has no tact, but we knew that.
Yes.
Um, okay. Statler and Dempsey or David and Sheila?
Yeah.
Okay, Statler and Dempsey. I thought it was so nice not to see them for a couple weeks.
I disagree. I like being able to say how much I hate Statler.
I kind of felt for her, like, we really see in real time how anxious news situations make her, but I'm just like, "Girl, you are, like, in your mid-30s. Get a grip, like, get help, like, this is you understand what makes you weird and off-putting. Figure it out."
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where like I'm like either you're drunk or you're unprepared for a presentation or something where like it it kind of like sticks with you or like hurts you for a while and then you're like, okay, how do I not have this feeling again? And so you self-reflect and then say, okay, if I'm feeling awkward when I'm first meeting someone, what I'll do is just wait to be asked a question. I'm not like, ugh.
So they're in the car they're going to meet Dempsey's friends, and Statler says she hates meeting her partner's friends because it's like going into war and you have to fight for acceptance.
Have you ever thought that?
I mean, I felt nervous, but I'm not like I have to fight for people to like me. Like, if you're fighting for people to like you, those aren't your people, you know? You can
Yeah.
like and like your partners, if you are going to be together, like you don't have to be like super close friends with every single one of your partner's friends. You're not gonna they're not your friends, and that's okay.
Because, yeah, the friends, like, you need to like the friends just as much as the friends need to like you. Like, Dempsey's
Mhm.
the one that has the high stakes.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. Because they're gonna talk to Dempsey about whether they like her. And like yeah, it's just so bizarre. And then when they're on the way to meet these people, Dempsey asks Statler what she likes about England because Dempsey wants Statler in her life, and she says, "I don't know, I think the accent." And it's like and Dempsey's like, "Well, what do you like the
No,
people?"
no, 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 no. Okay, my memory of that clip was she's like, "Well, they're British people. You like British people." And she's like, "Yeah, I do like British people." And then she's like, "What do you like about British people?" And she says,
Oh,
"The
right.
accent." I'm like, "Oh my God, why is that the only thing you go to?"
If I were Dempsey, I would feel like a hollow
Flavor of the
shell of a
week.
person. I know,
Yeah,
exactly. Or just, like, interchangeable with any other British woman she's gonna find on an app, like,
100%. Yeah,
so bizarre.
yeah.
So they go and they meet these 2 friends, Georgia, who has a weird hairdo, and then the other one, Lindsay or something.
Lindsay, spelled Linzi. Lindsay.
They get talking about Dempsey's birthday, and then Statler brings up, I have a surprise. We're going to Edinburgh. And they're like, oh my God. And then Statler's like, I planned everything. I planned everything. And it includes just a bunch of sex stuff. All I planned was sex. It's just sex stuff. And that's the only thing
Yeah.
I'm good at is sex.
Only thing on the itinerary. Yeah.
Wow.
So awkward. Just shut up your word vomit. She knows that her word vomit is next level. She's,
Yeah. It was like shocking. Like my mouth was like agape. We're just like
yeah.
watching someone have like just be so anxious they can't control themselves. It was so
Mhm.
bizarre.
So I was shocked when she decided to like s- reveal the surprise of Dempsey's birthday to Dempsey in front of these two friends. And then,
Mhm.
how did she say Edinburgh? Edinburgh? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, just say Scotland.
Yeah. Truly, yeah. Yeah, she's not good at keeping anything to herself, so how is she gonna keep the details of a quote unquote surprise to herself?
Then she had to get up and just go number one, not number two.
Why does she have to tell these people that she's not pooping? It's so
Dude,
weird.
so it's almost like she's like an SNL character. And it's just like and they're like over the top, like, what weird thing can she say now?
Yeah.
Like,
That
oh,
is so real. Oh my goodness. And then while she's in the bathroom, Dempsey brings up like all this codependent shit and how she's like trying to move in with her right away. And her friends have like strong reactions and they're like, please don't do this. Like, please
yeah, yeah,
chill
yeah.
out. Like, yikes, 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 yikes. And yeah, I think that, and then the friends are like, that is all really wild. And maybe that's how all Americans are. All Americans just talk about sex all the time. That was weird.
Yeah. They gave her a lot of grace and she did not deserve it. And then we find out that Dempsey is driving them to Statler's surprise trip that she planned.
I think that's probably a pretty long day. Like you're driving through all of England and then probably a couple hours through Scotland. That seems like a really long day of driving.
Yeah, also, if you planned the trip, how is the person that his birthday is the one in charge of transportation?
Yeah, why did they take a train? Why didn't she book a train?
Because she was so excited to go to a castle. And castles are not on the stops. Like they're not actually in Edinburgh. They're somewhere else, I'm sure. Sorry, we skipped over the drive where it was like super awkward.
Yeah,
Where
that's true.
she was like, so what if I'm codependent? Like I want to be next to my person all the time. Like I don't think any like that's the kind of love that I want. Oh wow.
She's also in the ITM brings up like the textbook definition of codependency and says that that's what she wants and she doesn't see a problem with it. But the textbook definition of or like a dictionary definition of codependency doesn't really take into account like that means that your identities are merged. That means that you aren't differentiated and it means that you are like assuming another person's like identity or like obliterating yours for the sake of another person. She's not thinking that hard about what it means and how it would affect Dempsey's sense of self or Dempsey.
I don't think that she read the textbook definition of codependency because she makes it seem, I'm looking it up. I'll read it in a second
Okay.
because what she's kind of describing is like what she doesn't have a problem with is just spending time together like, or the majority of your time together. Okay. Codependency in a relationship is when each person involved is mentally, emotionally, physically, and or spiritually reliant on the other. That's disgusting. None of that is like appealing to me. Like, yes, I think it's okay to rely on people at certain times, but you still have to be your own person, and you have to, you know, be comfortable with yourself, be comfortable with silences.
Yeah, see, that's the part that she isn't like, you're not gonna get in a a definition, and that you're not gonna that she's not kind of, like, thinking through and considering from Dempsey's point of view. Like, she's assuming that that is the relationship that Dempsey wants to have. And, like,
Mhm.
if being codependent is important to you and Dempsey doesn't want to be codependent, then maybe Dempsey isn't a good match and you should find someone that wants to be codependent. Like, I'm sure there's so many codependent people in this world. I'm sure you can find one.
Very
Like,
true. Like, she should type in British accent plus codependency. Like, right now, she's just going after British accent. She can narrow her search.
yeah, you mean like in Tinder? Can you search for that in Tinder?
Probably, right? It's a kink. I'm sure codependency is probably a kink these days.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know what I'm saying.
I did think the castle was pretty freaking cool. It looked really
Oh,
nice.
yeah. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of castles in Scotland. Did you stay in one? I know you visited a bunch when you went.
Oh my gosh. Do we want to go there? No, we did not visit a bunch. Um, sorry.
Oh, I do remember this was a this was when your husband read a guidebook on the plane and thought he was like the Scotland tour guide.
No, well, he very close, very close. He did not read the full. He planned an itinerary, but did not read the tour guide that or the tour book that he downloaded that said that all the castles were closed in the month of March.
Oh.
And we were there for for my birthday in March,
Yeah.
and yeah. So we didn't stay in a castle, but we stayed at like what I would consider an equivalent of a castle. It was this like bed and breakfast that was just like this old beautiful building like in the middle of like nowhere, Scotland. We want to go back. It was awesome. It was beautiful. Boys are stupid. Don't let them plan anything.
Okay. Anything else about Statler and Dempsey?
Oh, why are the cameras still there when they get in the hot tub or in the bathtub? No thanks. We didn't need that.
I think because Statler isn't saying no to anything the producers suggest. Like, they watched her take a diarrhea shit in the first episode or whatever. Like, she just isn't saying no to anything. Like, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
sure you
okay.
can be like, "No, thank you. I need you to leave now." But
Yeah.
she just didn't. Okay. Do you wanna do David and Sheila and then Gino and
Yes.
Jasmine last?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So, I wrote down on my note paper, so red, no less than 4 times. So red.
He's so nervous.
Okay?
I don't know. I mean, he's he's a very pasty man, and it looks very humid, and he's doing all this stuff that's making him nervous.
It's true.
Yeah, this resort looks pretty cool. They're going
Yeah.
on an awesome, like, snorkeling boat tour. These are if anybody is going to the Philippines, I highly, highly recommend going on one of these boat tours. My sister and I did this in Palawan when we went in 2019, and it's like you rent a boat with a guide and a pilot slash cook, and they take you to these cool places and they make you a lunch, and it was like $60 for the whole day to charter this
Ooh.
boat. And our guide was just so funny and incredible. And the snorkeling, like, I think we've both been to like the Great Barrier Reef like at separate times, but like the reefs in the Philippines are out of control. Like,
It
we went
it looked beautiful.
like, I don't think they were supposed to be that close to sea turtles, but
Are you
like,
close to sea turtles?
I know in Hawaii you're supposed to be at least 50 feet away, but yeah, it was like we were like in like a cyclone of fish where there was anemone. It was just like so incredible. So they're doing this
Nice.
vacation right. And I thought she was doing so good at signing on the boat.
I agree. That was so sweet, and he was so appreciative. That is Misha, or sorry, Nicola should take a cue from that. Like, anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really yeah, I liked that little adventure that they did. I was really rude and I wrote down he looks even more like a dork in like his backwards hat and like just all of it. But it was so cute that they were signing underwater and
Yeah. It
yeah.
looked like a really sweet day for a very nice and non-dramatic couple.
And then I don't know if she had said it before, but she said in her ITN that she had been shy to sign because she didn't want to do it wrong, which is what I think a lot of people fear. Like when English is their second language or they're
Yeah.
speaking not their native tongue. And it's hard because you think like, oh well, David loves you, so he's just going to be happy that you're trying, which is the case, but it's hard to get over that burial or that hurdle.
Totally.
Did you see his tat?
He has a
He
tattoo?
had a tattoo. He had a tattoo on his arm.
What was it?
I don't know, it's something. Couldn't really tell.
Because I have tattoos, I have to like all tattoos.
No, because you're into David.
Oh. Well, clearly it didn't stand out to me. So they get back from their snorkel thing and then they go to dinner where David is saying that he's going to propose. And there's this awkward thing where he had Sheila order wine for him, but she just goes, wine. And she doesn't say what kind or like what varietal. And then they bring red wine, which I'm like, this is the wrong choice when you're already sweating bullets. Why did you do this? But he did order a steak, so I guess that makes sense.
Also,
But
she tried the wine and it was too strong for her. So I'm pretty
uh
sure there's no way she would have known about a varietal of
yeah.
wine.
He also like oddly like poured some.
Yeah.
I didn't know understand what was happening there. I'm guessing maybe he like ordered a glass and then they didn't have the whole
Wanted
bottle, but
wanted
that
her to
was
share.
yeah, that was really weird.
But the restaurant and the table was like it was cute. It seemed private.
Yeah, it all looked really nice, and then their food comes, and she gets really sad, and so she doesn't have an appetite because she's,
Yeah.
like, thinking about her mom.
Well,
So
no, they weren't. We thought she was, the producers made us think that she was thinking about her mom,
oh, okay.
but she was really sad because he was going to leave soon.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that.
Also, Sheila, knowing how to spell appetite, I don't know how to spell appetite.
So, he's like, "Okay, well, if I propose, it'll make her less sad." So, he is sweating bullets.
So
He
sweaty.
He has hives, like, you see his
Oh,
face is so red.
I was concerned for his health.
Yeah, wine probably isn't helping, and she's like, "What is going on with you?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then he asks her, and she is, like, so overwhelmed and surprised. She asks him if it's for real, which I thought was, like, kind of wild, but
Hmm.
I think that was just, like, her way of expressing, like, surprise, and it was really, really cute. And then he knocks her red wine into her dinner.
Yes, yes, yes. So clumsy. It's incredible. There are a couple of things that I also noticed about this proposal. The waitress awkwardly in the background,
Yeah.
watching every moment. Loved that. Um, and so he tries to cheers her before getting down on one knee, or they do cheers, and then she immediately took a giant sip of water, like
Yeah.
a chaser. Like she had taken a shot. hard alcohol, but it was wine.
Yeah, he just looks so nervous, just so nervous. I these 2 are really, really cute, like, they really do love each other, and I hope that they make it together because
Me too.
it's awkward in like, watching them is or all of this anyways, is just, like, awkward in a good way, where you're kind of like I don't know, I'm just, like, kinda nervous with
It's
it.
like sweet. They're like little they're like teenagers, young love. Um, did you notice that he kind of like body slammed her onto the bed?
Well, she's getting a big red dickin' now. He just, like, picks her up and is like, "Here we go."
But he body slammed her into the bed right after she was like, is this real? Slap me. And he's like, I'll never slap you. I'll just body slam you into this bed.
Like, "Is this real enough?" Oh my god,
Yeah.
so
Oh
funny.
man. Let's go to the producers now. Gino and Jasmine. I fucking love you, Jasmine.
Jasmine has, like, run away after this fight from last episode where she told Gino that she fucked Dane, her ex-boyfriend, and had it on video.
Just a month ago, and it was so good. I'm going to keep fucking him.
And then she's sitting on this bench, like, producing her own telenovela, and Gino walks up wearing a backpack and carrying shopping bags. Like, what is in all of these bags? Like, why does he have all these bags?
Different hats seems to be right. Seems to be what he would be doing, carrying. Sorry. Yeah. And he says if he doesn't reconcile with her, he's going to regret it for the rest of his life.
Sure, but this is, like, the 10th time that they've done this, and this is gonna keep happening, so I feel like, you'll, like, regret it for the next, like, 3 or 4 hours maybe if you don't
So the previous times where they've broken up, has it been like her saying, like, we're done, we've broken up?
I'm trying to think from, like, yeah, it's usually her being like, "You're not trying to communicate," which she's always trying to communicate, which is like, "I need more validation, and I need more signs of, like, affection, and I need you to pay for my facelift." And then him being, like, awkward and not knowing how to do it, and then she gets fed up and runs away.
Okay.
So, this is not new at all.
This, I mean, I think she's perfect. Well, we know that she is perfect, not just that we know that I think she's perfect.
Yeah.
Um, sorry. She is just as important as his family until they're married, and then she'll be the most important. Like, I get why she's mad at that.
Of course.
Like, and he doesn't understand it, and he and he and Christian can go and not understand the world or and eat their frozen meals together. It would be nice.
And so she tells him, like, she's not activated anymore. He knows he needs to, like, not try and talk to her when she's super activated, so that's why he's trying to, like, talk to her now because she has a little bit of time to calm down on this bench. And she says again, like, this happens, like, every time. We just, like, watch her repeat. She's like, "I don't feel loved or appreciated. I need that to feel like I can do this relationship." And then he doubles down on saying that she's equally important as his family.
It's just like talking to a wall. Like,
Like, he just has no idea why, like, he just doesn't hear her. Like, he just
mm-mm.
only wants, like, he thinks, like, what he said is good enough, and he's just, like, so hung up on these technicalities because he has 0 emotional intelligence. And she says, "He doesn't see me as family," which I think is, like, that kinda says it all. Because he's separating them. He's not saying, like, you are my family. He's saying, like, my family is here, you are here, you're the same. And she's like, that's I wouldn't think that's good enough.
No, no,
Like,
because it's not. Would you do me a quick favor
sure.
and yell, I'm breaking up with you in Jasmine's voice?
I'm breaking up with you.
Thank you.
But should she yell it though? I feel like she
No,
should.
she did it, but it was, I like it when you yell it.
This was incredible acting from Jasmine here.
Mhm.
Like, we know that they're not, like, they're never gonna break up.
I
They're
would love it if this was the end.
Would you
I
though?
like I would I yeah, I would. I would then Jasmine can get someone else. And we wouldn't have to see Gino in his hats.
But, like, honestly, who is she going to find that is going to put up with this, if not Gino?
Dane.
I don't he didn't play into it though. It seemed like she said she didn't want
Oh
he
yeah,
couldn't
you're
be with him
right.
because she loves chaos. And
Yeah,
it
there
seemed
was no
like
drama. You're right. You're right.
he didn't want to play along. And like Gino is dumb enough to like get whipped into her frenzy. Like we see that all the time. Like I was massaging your feet and then you started yelling at me. Okay, love you, Jasmine. That's not how that
Yeah.
happened.
Did you notice the amount of ticks in Gino's face that were coming out all over his face? Or I sorry, like like little twitches and
Yeah,
stuff.
I he does that when he gets nervous. I hate the thing that he does with his mouth and it kind of looks like he's chewing, but he's not. It like ugh, I don't know why that is such an ick for me. Yeah, so she like wants him to fight for her. She wants him to say like, "No, baby. I'm not going to break up. We're not breaking up. I can't stand it. I love you, blah blah blah." But he can't figure that out. And
No. Even with the producers, I'm sure they're telling him, but he can't figure it out.
yeah, he's like incredibly dumb. Maybe she's hoping once she gets to the US, she'll just get like, a credit card and then she can just go like chill by herself.
Nice. Nice. I was just pondering how big we think Gino's neck is. Like, do you think it's 14 inches or 15 inches? How many brains he's got? Well,
Well, his head is like he has kind of like a pointy head. He's got kind of like an oblong, pointy head. I haven't really taken a good gander at his neck.
we're gonna have to get them to go to a costume shop.
Oh, he has a pretty thick neck, I think. I googled a picture. I think you can kind of see his Adam's apple at least. Christian, I was like surprised once I
Hot.
looked at it. He had no Adam's apple, like at all.
Oh,
I mean, Gino is some kind of engineer and like isn't living in his mom's basement. I don't think we ever learned what Christian does for money besides spend it at pubs and like drunkenly hit on underage girls.
yeah. What does he do? I don't care. I just want to highlight what you said before that Jasmine's acting was incredible. She had me.
She had you convinced this was the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny that okay, this is happening because this is their pattern, but like I feel like just the dramatic music and everything, like the show is trying to make you think that this is like really the end, even though we know that she's living in Michigan right now. Anything else about them?
No, I've got a fuck, Mary kill for you, but I don't think it's gonna settle, or I don't think it's gonna land with you because you weren't paying attention to Jane's center boob tattoo,
Okay.
all of the random tattoos on Amanda's body shown
Okay.
through Delia's dress, and uh, David's hot arm tattoo.
I think I'm going to marry Jane's tattoo, even though I don't know what it is, because it's probably cool because Jane is cool and smart. Also, just Jane. I'm probably gonna have to fuck David's arm, which is gonna be weird,
Obviously.
and then murder anything to do with Amanda.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's the right answer. You forgot to mention that David has a big American dick. So,
Big red American dick. You
yes.
you can't forget that it's red. Okay, I have some for you. Snorkel boat trip,
Ooh.
castle stay, or
Okay.
a British Thanksgiving. How would you rather spend your weekend?
British Thanksgiving, castle trip, and okay, well, I have to. Oh my God, do I marry or do I fuck the? Okay, is it any British Thanksgiving or is it that British Thanksgiving?
To make it harder, it's gonna be that British Thanksgiving with
Okay, well, I have to kill that British Thanksgiving. That was bullshit. Full
because there's
bullshit.
probably salmonella in the non-creamy corn.
Yeah. And then I'll marry the snorkel trip because I could do that over and over again. And then the castle I'll fuck because that seems like fun, but also I'm not gonna like want to do it all the time. Like the snorkel trip is more my scene. Um, that's a good one. But wait, but that was like an obvious one to kill. But yeah, do that snorkel trip. And then you told me that there was food on that snorkel trip.
Yeah, that was really cool. And then I was asking, I don't know, I was at an event and talking to a Filipino woman about that trip, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I did that and I loved it so much I booked it for like I like did a trip around islands for like 3 or 4 days." And like
Awesome.
so now I want to go back and do that.
Will you take me there?
Yeah, of course. We can meet my
Perfect.
crazy family. They're really good at drinking.
Yes.
They-
Whoa. I'm impressed.
I know because I can't.
You have gotten better.
I manage. Yeah, I manage.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I think that's all for
Awesome.
us. Thanks, y'all. We will see you next week.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.